Afternoon, gentlemen. I ain't got a lot to say this week, except welcome to the playoffs! Man, that feels good! So, we're going to go ahead and recap last week as week 12, the season came to an end. Couple disappointments. One being Johnny Clipboard. I thought Johnny Clipboard was gonna end end his losing streak, but as he should, he went into the consolation bracket a loser. Kind of disappointed me, but I guess it's fitting. Um, Disappointed in 42. Just your simple absenteeism. Thought you were going to put the boot on Kista Hernandez's throat. You chose not to do that. Maybe next year, if you decide to come back and donate $200 more, you'll be a little more participatory. 42, maybe I should stop voting for you because you lost to Polkai Panthers. Polkai Panthers had an amazing 162 points, which could have been a sign of what this guy could have been able to do had he been focused all year. 3 disappointments. I could have sworn that was for. Oh, yes! Don't touch me there. Hugely disappointed. Not just in this game that you played against Classy Strippers, but in your whole season. I mean, the champion to come out and then go 4-8 during the season. You did save yourself from being at the bottom of the consolation bracket, so there's really no chance of you getting last place. So, kudos there, but still a major disappointment. Last week I didn't get to Fantasy Stud and Fantasy Dud, so I'm going to go ahead and recap that because I don't want to leave anybody out that thought they should have been the stud or even the dud. So let's go ahead and start with the dud. I went with, as far as it was last week, I went with Payday because Payday just doesn't participate. Lazy Pugs may have had a lower score. He was going up against Flawless Victory. But I'm giving it to Payday as the Fantasy Dud of Week 11. Fantasy Stud of Week 11, I had to give it to Chicago Chalupas, who came out very, very strong against Classy Strippers to secure his bid to go to the playoff wildcard. A loss there could have been detrimental to his playoff berth. Fantasy Stud, Chicago Chalupas, Week 11. Now, going back to Week 12, Fantasy Dud goes to Payday again. I can't stress this enough. I hate absentee owners. It destroys the integrity of the league. If you decide to come back next year, please set up arrangements to set your lineup so that you can donate your $200 appropriately without affecting anybody else in the league. Fantasy Dud, Payday. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say the overall seasonal Fantasy Dud. Since I'm going to get it off my chest, Week 12 is over. Fantasy Dud of the entire season. Don't touch me there. You get the Fantasy Dud Award for the entire season. 12 weeks accumulation, Fantasy Dud. Well, how did I come up with that, you may ask? Because I said so. Fantasy Dud goes to Don't Touch Me There. Champ to consolation bracket. Dud, dud, dud. Now, Week 12's Fantasy Stud. Let's go with, I don't know, DDD. DDD going up against Lazy Pugs. He really had his work cut out for him. Lazy Pugs probably put in his best effort there, but Odell Beckham, with that catch alone, I'm giving DDD the Fantasy Stud of the Week. Odell Beckham, Jewel, Jim, can't believe that catch. Fantasy Stud for Week 12, D. Fantasy Stud for the year? Come on now. Who's your number one in the seasonal rankings? Who's your supposedly worst drafter in the league, I'll tell you who you thought it was. Discount double check yourself. Now, I'm the fantasy stud of the season. Don't touch me, there's the fantasy dud of the season. I'm going to give you my most improved this year. The most improved owner this year, without a doubt, Flawless Victory. He had the highest points for, and he made an incredible turnaround from being at the bottom of the standings last year to being at the top of his new division, and just is going to be a force to reckon with for years to come. Flawless Victory, most improved, and probably the favorite to win the playoffs this year. Hopefully, he can, go through DDD so he can play me and have that honor justified by playing the #1 fantasy stud of the year. Not even worried about chalupas. Aaron Rodgers is going to ice you like there's no tomorrow in Green Bay. The frozen tundra is going to just freeze your genitals until I can find a little nutcracker to just pop, pop, pop. Yeah, you got 3 balls this year, and I'm going to pop every one of them. Either way, you got big balls, Chicago Chalupas, and they're numerous. That's why I gave you 3, because your season, your turnaround season, you were just on the edge of making the playoffs last year. To just come forth and be in the playoffs is a feat for you, especially being in one of the toughest divisions in the league. The East, with Lazy Pugs, a 2-time money winner in year 1 and year 2. Classy Strippers, who won year 1 and got 3rd in year 2. And then you have myself, Fantasy Stud of the Year this year, Fantasy Stud of the Year last year. I also finished 1st last year, but I ended up 4th place last year. That will not happen again this year. Although I give you much brass balls for your gumption this year, this is where it ends, my friend. This is where it ends. I will not let another 4th place team beat me. I won't do it. Can't do it. You ain't gonna do it. Get out of here with that noise. Alright. Now, the playoffs. Bear with me. This is week 1 of the playoffs. Now, I probably should have did this in advance, but I'm going to take you through my process with me on who I think is going to win. Now, I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up to the top like Drake. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. So, Payday versus Lazy Pugs. I don't even need to worry about this. I mean, Payday and Lazy Pugs know each other very well. They're both in that Guam region. They should have an incredible rapport to not want to be further into the loser bracket. A loser here is most likely going to be last place in this league. And at the owners' meeting, I'm going to fight for something the last place loser does next year to make this relevant. I'm picking Lazy Pugs because it's 2 weeks. You got to play these guys for 2 weeks. So I think Lazy Pugs is going to beat him 2 weeks straight. So Lazy Pugs will win, Payday will lose, and have to fight for the equivalent of the Sacco. So I'm not just picking this week, I'm picking all the weeks. This is who I think is going to win for both weeks. Now, so go ahead and go and select who I think is going to win this matchup, and I'm going to say Lazy Pugs. Boom. Easy peasy. Now, moving on to the next bracket that is in danger of playing for 11th and 12th place is Kista Hernandez and Like It versus 4-2. Now, to be honest, I really have to test whether or not I'm cursing 42. I'm picking 42 to win this matchup. He's going to beat Kista Hernandez and Like It. And I'm going to pick 42 to prove that he is not cursed. Sorry, man. Hopefully you don't lose this matchup. Moving on to Don't Touch Me There and Polk High Panthers. Polk High Panthers has had a wonderful upstart with Sammy Watkins and Kyle Orton. Those guys are really thinking that they can be a playoff team, so it's making Polk High Panthers team that much better. So, with that being said, Matt Forte versus LaShawn McCoy. Matt Forte has been highly more productive than LaShawn McCoy, but this is the time LaShawn McCoy I expect to turn it on. Josh Gordon proved that he is an influential part of that team. I'm giving this to Don't Touch Me There. Partly because I don't know if Polk High Panthers can muster 2 straight weeks, well, he's already had 2 straight weeks of being non-absentee, so it's hard for me to say that he won't, botch at least one of these weeks with Don't Touch Me There. So, Don't Touch Me There should win that matchup. Now, the guys that were closest to making the playoffs. This will be a very strong pride game, which I'm going to give to Johnny Clipboard 1. He's just got the more firepower. Classy Strippers probably is the better owner when it comes to fantasy football, but his team does not match up very well against Johnny Clipboard 1. I'm giving Johnny Clipboard the win there. Now, to what we've all been waiting for. The playoffs! Beautiful playoffs starting here on Thanksgiving Day. We got some wonderful matchups in football and in fantasy football. Now, this is really going to be a tough matchup between the two most projected to play in the finals are actually playing in the semis. Designated Drunk Drivers, who has a really consistent team. Odell Beckham Jr. has turned it on. Golden Tate has surprised with Megatron being out. And Larry Donnell with Eli Manning. He's the only guy that Eli Manning can see now. But with Odell Beckham Jr., it kind of takes away from it. You know, it's all semantics. But, flawless victory. Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton is phenomenal. Le'Veon Bell, basically the workhorse in Pittsburgh now, with Jamal Charles, the only option in Kansas City. I'm giving this one to Flawless Victory. I fully expect to see Flawless Victory in the championships. So, Flawless Victory should win both of those weeks to secure his victory and go into the finals with the only matchup remaining. Chicago Chalupas or Discount Double Check Yourself. So, the winner of this matchup should come of no surprise. He's been number 1 in your hearts. He's been number 1 in the polls. He's been number 1 in the standings. Discount Double Check Yourself. Now, there's no reason why Aaron Rodgers and my logo are synonymous. Keep calm and discount double check. When Aaron Rodgers told the world, not just Green Bay, he told the world 5 letters. RELAX. Relax. I have been nothing but relaxed with Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb. Not to mention a healthy Rob Gronkowski. And I've had the X Factor Bryant racking up 30, 40 burgers, and even 50 burgers. Did I think Aaron Rodgers hit me with a 60 burger one time? This is not a fluke, fellas. This is the culmination of a beautifully drafted team with top 100 people. That's how I pick my players. I want them not only to be respected in the stat sheets, but be respected by their peers. And Aaron Rodgers, a possible MVP of the league. Rob Gronkowski, a possible MVP of the league. There is no doubt how I chose my team to be this flawless. This is going up against the Chicago Chalupas team that is rather decent. Best I could put it. They're decent. I mean, he's got a decent set of running backs. He's got an explosive wideout with a couple of complimentary guys. His tight end probably could be better. And you know, he's got some complimentary players that'll keep him in the 130s, 140s. My team is explosive. I mean, it is the Expendables of fantasy football teams. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I'm going to say I not only win this matchup, but I'm going to easily win both weeks and meet flawless victory so that I can finish him over there as well and give me my rightful place as first place in the regular season and then first place in the playoffs, and give me my due respect as the commissioner and league manager of this league. I will not be denied this year. I will not be denied. Take that to the bank, son. Because you know what? I got a bank full of pride. Full of pride. And I'm going to hand you some pride this week, Chicago Chalupas, along with some humble pie. You say that you want to play my team, that you hope you lost week 12 so you can play my team? Oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to show you, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick what it do. What it do, son? You got your wish. You want to come to the frozen tundra? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Relax and take this ass whooping like a man. Well, fellas, that's the picture in a nutshell. I will be back in 2 weeks to report the finals of these games, these matchups. And one bit of information, I couldn't figure out how to lock the consolation teams, so I stress again, the free agent market is open to all teams, but if I see any roster dumping, I'm going to move that stuff around and I'm going to correct it. Won't be any shenanigans like last year. I cannot lock rosters, so ESPN has not given me that ability. But I expect everybody to be fair, be, and be competitive. I mean, you don't have your roster locked, so I fully expect if you got money in the bank, in the free agent bank, and you want to go pick up a player, go pick up a player. By all means, make your team better so that you're not the worst team in the league, payday. You're not the worst team in the league, lazy pugs. You're not the worst team in the league, 42. I just expect you all kiss to Hernandez and like it. I really expect you all to make your teams better and don't roster dump. And that goes along with the middle of the roadkill individuals as well. Do not do anything to hurt the integrity of this league. I appreciate everyone for playing. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Those are your winners. You can like it or you can love it.